have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. So you want to amend your motion?
Yes. I will make a motion to accept the minutes with the correction.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. Waiver of municipal liability and naming of doubtful participants in the section of which Tom?
Because we have essentially a private way or private road, and the Division 911 regulations are that we have more than one house on a private way, a private driveway that must be road, and then the houses get done here individually for that. So we have a request from the owners of portions of that road as to the preferences as to names. First one being Rescue Acres, which is because consulted with fire chief, and that's too close to existing names, so one of the second name Rescue Acres that they requested, and Ashland Selectboard rules that section of it came to the road accordingly. I understand that it's not required that it be done right away, that it's not required occupancy, but I would like to get it done now so that then we can assign numbers for the two houses.
So you said Westwood Acres?
Their preference choice is Westwood Acres. It's that's what their request is. Yeah, so basically the two houses, basically most all the land is look at the plot that's on the so the newly created lot, the other lot, and then the lot on the side, all owned by the same property owner. However, the first 489 feet of the discontinued road co-owned with one of them. So basically, everybody on the property is like, so basically everybody associated with it has signed the name request.
That's true. That's true.
Both of them are, but the number two is first.
I'll make a motion that we name the discontinued section of Pittsville Road, Westwood Acres. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just don't know what you like it, but I also give reference to the specific language of the book of music people who incorporate that to see the book of Pittsville Road.
Actually, discontinued should cover it.
Well, it's very complicated because there's other sections of another section of the road.
portion of Dick Hill Road, which is now considered a private way, with the butters on each side owning the center line. First,
the wrong part of it. Two private ways, butters each side, one of them fell easterly direction from New Hampshire Route 377, approximately 2,077 feet to the end of the portion on the westerly side, stood private way, noted as F-Map 202.06, on a plan recorded at Jackson County Registry of Deeds 17217. That's right.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Yes.
And the second issue is that any time that there is a building permit to be issued for construction on either a class 6 road or a private road, we now have a private road to the rest of it that requires waivers for whether it be executed between the town and the property owner, basically studying for that we have no responsibility for upkeep of the road, as well as because of that, we live in the instances where there's difficulty accessing for emergency services. And that gets executed by the property owners, and then notarized with knowledge by this board, will sign it, and then it gets the court of registry needs, and at that point, then it doesn't come to you.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that this board execute a waiver of municipal liability with Clay Schoenberger and Colette Schoenberger related to the 2.5 acre lot created out of Ashland Tax Map 202-1036 as voted by the Ashland Planning Board on August 2nd. Said lot to be located on Robert Road known as the Westwood Acres. So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Does Steve is online? Jimmy? Yes. Ann?
Yes.
Tony? Yes. Steve? No, it's Steve. And Andy says yes, we have at least 4 of them. Not 4 of them. Okay. Let's move on.
And then the third matter is under this state statute, this board must authorize the issuance of building permit on a class 6 road or private road. So I'm looking for authorization for issuing the building permit. The board knows that there is some outstanding matters where the property owner and I do not agree. And that is the status of the first 489 feet of the road. Now, the members and I that we agree with this particular road was distributed by 1940 Founding Road. So there's a distinction between the completely discontinued with the town of no roads in it as opposed to a discontinued road that's subject to regard change, which is a class 6 road. So, in this instance, the town has absolutely no rights to it, and as the applicant stated, planning board needs last week, if defeated, no responsibility to it, not public access, not public way, and the limit itself reverts back to humans and process. No disagreement on that. The disagreement that we have is that, in my opinion, in researching this extensively, they only own half the road lot line adjustment so that it's clear that they have full access to get to the property. So that's the issue. With different ways to resolve it.
And what is your lot line adjustment?
Well,
I think you need a legal opinion.
I think my opinion is I consulted Ron on a consultant, Kendall has consulted with the New Hampshire Risk Association Council. One of my things is rather calling our own council, they can get legal opinions from them without having to go to the court. And they're all agreement with that. The landowner has cited RSA and the police department looked into essentially neither of those apply to this situation. And so I have nothing in this fight other than I'm trying to protect their rights in case that owner of that other property or subsequent owner of that property were to say you don't have rights to this.
Because I would say from 175 a year, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not the whole thing. So we're there and at it. What you're saying is you could get at least in the perpetuity, so if the butter, the timber is selling the property, they still have the easement, but still use of the width of that road for 400. Or do a lot line adjustment.
Or move the road over. So
Here they could happen. You know, with that property that says, I'm going to put a fence. Wait, I put off my property line, now they'll have a full use of the wood. So I think it's a good representation that what you're saying is that.
But then it's probably complicated by the fact that I just actually I cannot issue a building permit with the building. I move forward with starting the foundation. So there is these issues. I think going to do some business. Yes, although they're basically they put foundation fitting in, the forms are up for foundation walls. They have requested that I inspect those forms and rebar and sign off on the inspection and if they permit the night job. I think it will be obviously they cannot issue. They are one option if you're throwing out there trying to find a middle ground between the parties is that with both issue the foundation only permit so that they can build a foundation. No, it's also because the concrete company is going to hire them extra for removing the forms that they can't afford. So we could issue the foundation only permit until this matter gets resolved. So that's one of different options that I've just proposed that I'm just.
Do you have any idea where the owner of the other property is?
They're local because they have.
Are they a party to this, or or not just?
My understanding is that they, based upon statements made by the applicant, is that the other party is going to grant the easement, and they did sign on to the street name. So, but the after planning board meeting last Thursday, so Thursday's meeting, the applicants did say that the other party you're willing to grant easement. And one of the questions that I had with him back when I was first trying to figure out the status of the road, he said that they do have a good relationship. And that's the issue. My concern is that we have a possibility where we could be issuing a building permit for a house that doesn't have legal access.
Well, I like the idea of giving really into a foundation for it to sort it out. Put some detail to it. People that say like that, we need some documentation. Well, somewhere along the line, I heard it mentioned that we could give them a building permit, but we wouldn't issue an occupancy permit until such a time as we had this easement straightened out. Can we do that?
That's another option is that we can do a foundation permit only, because it's a result of issue a complete building permit with the subject to the condition that it be access resolved to putting up with the satisfaction of the town, and not withstand a issue like that. If you look at the second paragraph of my memo from the secretary, so I had prepared a draft motion that didn't make a recommendation on it, one way or another. Moving forward, authorize the issuance of a building permit to single-family residence to newly built lot. The matter of the said permit contains the following language: is the issuance of any specific occupancy permits conditioned upon the resolution of matter of legal access of the lot being to the site.
You put the debtor in a position where they have a lot of leverage on that owner. They were to decide, you know what, I'm not going to agree to it. Now, everybody with the house and we can't get to it. So, in my mind, you need to increase the cost of when you move from the foundation, let's not regrade that corner, and then let's resolve it to make sure that, nobody's in a bad place when we get to the end. The worst problem is that you're losing the foundation. Because, I mean, I've seen these things go as evidence, some people say, hey, that's how it is going to be. And maybe you want to buy out the property or something, or you just send it to I don't think it's important.
Are they asking for the ability to put in a foundation? Is that where they are now?
Their position is that they feel that this is a non-issue. And if you further information and the legal argument and what I look into regarding it.
So if it's a non-issue, it should be an easy thing for the two of them to resolve. We're going to make it clear, so meanwhile, though, give them a permit for the foundation.
And we can resolve it.
And let them resolve it, because if he says it's a non-issue, then it's just two pieces of paper with legalese and whatever, and
if they have to be done, just walk in the company, that's the order, and they can beat it out and throw stuff down.
Does that make sense?
I don't really think it's an issue anyway, because if you run into a problem with the other, they just move over to the other property. I don't see why we're messing with it. What's the more than moving the road? It's their property. They can do it. Just let me get a property that can take the road to move over. There's some numbers that goes there, there's 20 properties.
There's a bridge there that, there's a bridge that is 9.5 feet wide. That crosses the bridge. That's not That's why I want these. Obviously, we put up these road tax fees on the table. Somebody wants to make a motion. I'll make the motion that we allow to go forward with a foundation cleaning permit. And encourage them to do that as quickly as possible. This is what we are using.
Are they going to allow the permit? So it's not.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. To issue a foundation only permit. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. And I'm opposed. 3-1. Next item on the agenda is a veterans student tax credit. 43 Sanborn Road. Veteran has done all the checks, and this person is eligible. It's foster food liquor. I'll make a motion that we approve the tax credit effective November. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, one of the things you want to bring out, the two back freedom is the deal. It's all getting illegal, and there's the RAA survey. So you had that to do another advertised 30-day notice. To give the heirs one more run at trying to decide if they want to really bring the property. And if they choose not to, then we're pretty much done deal and we'll leave it after that. But you need to go to the board to notice those two properties for another 30 days. Prior to that. I make a motion that we notice two properties so that the heirs have another 30 days to decide whether they want to pursue the property or not. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is a wetlands permit for 295 River Street. The paperwork is right here, and if anybody wants to look at it,
I'd like to go to the board with the commission, the conservation commission, and it's not active anymore.
What am I trying to do, you know?
Replacing an office building, the basement uses an office building on the lot. It's 60 years old. And to do that, you have to connect to the city with wetlands permit by notification. And then this is the signature from the Conservation Commission and request to the city.
Okay, you came before the planning board just a little while ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Correct. Yeah, the planning board was okay with this. I'll make a motion to approve the wetlands permit for 295 River Street. Is that a River Street ahead of us? It's awful, that's great.
No, it makes it great.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to approve the wetlands permit. Any further discussion? All in in favor, please say aye. You want to do it, Kendall?
Yes, it's probably very well.
Go ahead, speak, Kendall.
Well, it's just asking if there was the arena for clarification.
Yes.
There you go. Nope. I want to amend that to add that the town manager can sign the application. Okay, still have the second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the MS 535. This is the form that they use to set our tax rate work. And there are questions of where it is. Nathan's going to have some of those, so I'll give you some of them now.
Okay.
I'm going to clean up with, yeah, you can. You want to clean up part of that? You want? I just have your nose, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, there's really nothing to change. So do I have a motion on the MS 535? I have a motion and a second to accept 535. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's not a unique situation. I think that's happened all over. The next item on the agenda is authorization for the town manager to sign the grant documents for the inflow study at the LW Packard building. And you know exactly what that grant that, yeah. It's just like around the
What is this new question?
This is remember we had found out to do the inflow study of the building on this field. This slide after this.
This is the one we got closest?
Yes.
And nothing else. I'm going to do town manager to sign.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Electric study, huh? The email that we go on today, I forwarded it out to Harry, who comes back and he sent me a PO request, no comment. I have been able to do it. But also what they do is they'll look at the assets and they'll come up with going forward. So what they do is they give, when the study's complete, they give you a couple of Excel spreadsheets. So they have a list of assets you need to maintain and protect the cost. And then at that time when it should happen, and they take your fixed costs and, power purchase and all that stuff. And it gives you, it's kind of like a water model or something like that. It has no number of things for each change, like the power that we use. And the change is you just put the new number and you run the model and it gives you your suggested rate. When you repair an asset and you take that off the list, it'll change the rate that you charge, because your rate should be trying to build a reserve to maintain your asset within reason, so you don't have these big spikes or whatever. You try to forecast out in advance instead of waiting the first day. I mean, I think it's going to be very cool for us to have. It's not like something you have to do all that often. You may want to they want to do it every 5 or 8 years. And just kind of come in and do it everything.
Have you ever done one of those?
I don't know. This is the first electrical, but just the first estimation studies, studies on like the rest of the water system, sewer system, or whatever. And it's nice when you get it done. And even road maintenance, road plans. There's some stuff there to do specific things, and this actually has hard work to link to electrical. They utilize them to develop a model for them to profit set rates and whatever, and then they took it from there and they got their engineers to plug and change the numbers. So that's kind of the smart.
You can't do it for a one-time thing, if you will.
Yeah.
Software and maintain that going forward.
Yeah, we'll be able to change the numbers and then,
as things change, we'll be able to make that.
That's the way it's pretty easy.
It's not an ongoing, cost involved in this.
And it gives you the scope within this project. It gives you the scope of everything they're going to accomplish. There's some work that they're going to expect them to be from us.
A lot. I have to define the entire asset inventory.
Right. And they're also, with that comment on the other thing, that they will help with projecting CIP things that may go into a CIP program. I think it's 18,000 change for the total project.
I think it's a good program. Don't just say something about the timing. Right now, we're in a flux with the repairs that have to be made to
They'll be brought up to date on that.
If you've had a good time, and then you go through creating all this when this one has been known for.
Well, so we're hoping by the end of the month we'll be taking on that note and contracting out that work. Now, this is going to take quite a time to do it. It won't be a week or two project. It's going to be probably like months, 2 or 3 months of work.
And so this will look good. I think this one will be taken once the rhythm of things is complete. So that's no longer a moving target.
Well, they'll project out people based on what's installed, and
And you can be collecting the assets of inquiry and testing it.
100% that's it.
Okay. Transformers from
system that we operate and maintain will be accounted for in the book. That's the way it's preferred to me.
It's probably you can.
That's what I think.
Yeah, because then you have an idea of the age of each asset, so you can check when it needs to be.
Yeah, well, everything's engineered with a lifespan, you know.
Yes.
I'm not going to say engineered to fail, but there's a projected lifespan.
Yeah. So you know how long.
And you know, a lot of things are like transformers, you know, from certain numbers, and a lot of things that we have to be. That takes time. But it's a really good thing to have.
Yeah, you just need to have you get training involved, and when you really feel this, the partner itself,
The electric department is responsible for assets, and the inventory of assets will help them get there. It will need to be and provide them the tools that they need, whether it's spreadsheets or whatever. I think that just found some old inventory sheets and reports and these copies and things that we want to machine and something.
Do they have think they would have systems like the design for this type of utility? I'm sure they must have them. They must have them.
Maybe it's engineering for
the types of assets.
it's not part of the scope of this.
Right. I'm sure they're familiar with them. Yeah.
have you been trying to find that scope, and does that have modules that
Well, that's how we're going to go about protecting what needs to be done in the future as far as being assets and what will be a bunch of new tools. It's also target rich setting, so it's going to show you where your rates need to be and what you're supposed to put away.
so you see that the cost of electric, and it comes back and
You might
see that it comes back and tells you
well, and every year when you have a new budget, you plug the budget numbers in to the calculate, and it'll show you where your rate should be. Right now, we have to do it which is budget, you know, everything. It's going to be nice to have an actual functioning model where you can say, well, here's your budget, here's your projected revenue, and taking all your expenses, and then it has projected what you're expected to spend next year on repairs and maintenance, and it'll give you a target program. Well, and as you bring new homes on, that's going to pay. So this isn't a one and done, you know, as
the someone's going to be responsible for maintaining this.
well, it's not going to be that finance department as far as the placeholder of the model, the inputs will be from the electric department, what they've done for work and what they need to do. And it's going to need to take care of the much numbers, expense numbers, and all that stuff. That's the way. They'll have a view, you know, obviously they'll have a view on
So you know computer, the computer literate, but there are no people using computers and recording and the happiness.
You haven't looked at systems, but you get the systems I've seen on the IT side, which aren't all that different from what you're doing. You have these pieces and all over the place and all that stuff is the work order system is tied to that because when you got to go out and replace the transformer, it's an asset with a number on it, you know, so it's and then you know where your assets are. You know, so you know that transformer is this one, this is the one which purchased this thing has been running for how many years. Yeah, I do. Yes, I would say but you know, sometimes I think there's systems to get there, but once you get there, the people working, it's like, it's an amazing tool, it makes things much easier, yeah. So it's
well, maybe somebody can try to find to get nice software too.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a good step to, you know, be fiscally responsible with
going to be a lot of parts and pieces that have to be in there. Every connector,
it seems fun. It does, but
question, what about the current status of the electric department in terms of its performance to funding? Where is that?
Last time I looked, everyone were out. I think they were like 3% over at this time. But we just paid big factor down. We hadn't started to receive all the receipts from the accountability. So that's going to change. As the receipts come in, the cost will be better. In my financial report, I can speak to it now. The insurance company Primex says they had a check to the town to cover the costs of $261,082.58. That was extended for the March 3rd incident at the substation. What they did not cover is transformer removal and an old building removal. That we covered. They covered the generator rental and the expenses by leave that couple of cases that if you next week, I see you.
There's a lot of really connected, a lot of budget here, electrical equipment, where you have spent the intended budget quite considerable amount, plus that $300,000. That's the extra?
Well, that was where they put the money in its new rate of fund balance. So over spending that to that, so fund balance we have about $83,000. And this comes in, that's going to offset that, and it's going to bring that back down and fuck out.
And my question on that, is that money we spent, is that just band-aids and temporary fixes, or will that offset some of the future costs of the
I think some of it did mark the cost of the whole done. That's why it came in at originally 1.7. I think now it's at 1.8, but the voters was 2.2. We should be getting paperwork by the end of this month. From those and then get going on that process. No problems. I think we like to do all those selected with that group. And of course, the primary got a quarter, so the meeting then the original proposal. The question becomes, is there an additional rate cut in the next couple of months? Is it what we're looking for, or do we need to move ahead after that? To be quite honest, the cars are not going to be cheaper. The repair and everything else right now, it's already gone up $100,000. So we're slowly creeping to do that. You can pay it off sooner to save on insurance. This is a bond, it's a bond bank. It's a lot of money. And if you were to fund that, you were stuck making those payments for the term. Where this is not totally paid penalty. So, put that out there. You have options for this where you with the name on there, you get a really good rate, but the time is the term.
It's not mentioned.
So you don't even know that I have on the estimated property budget. The budget submitted for this year still will off in terms of the actual cost that we could budget in that system. The video, I think the video kind of went from budget. By the end of the year, yeah, we're going to be at closer to 2 by the time we hit the end of the year. Based on the projection now, Yeah, well, yeah, we are currently, Bruce and I are currently working on the budget, so Barry has, I questioned that because he had worked on his budget and put it in the model, and I said, the budget looks like it was, and it's all because he put in 2.4 for their steps, so we did take a look at that. And yeah, I know with food and beverage not operating, we don't want our consumption might be a little more. But you didn't see the budget correctly. Where's the guy working on?
Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing that when we've got it with the plastic going forward.
So make a motion to fight that to authorize.
And make the motion that we purchase the maintenance of it.
Well, it's advocacy study. It's a rate study by BLM, a better private engineer. I'll second it. I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. What I'll do is, these give updates. Almost the board, like the process, is so you know how from and where we're at in the study. I think it's very important that all stakeholders come in. Between veterans, capital reserve fund request. So the top one here is for DOS signatures. And you see the second one, but we'll leave the second packet for the trustees. Okay. The second correct that's seven. Refrigeration. So we're asking for $51,710 to be the new heating/cooling system to come out of the speed out cap, out of the town building speed out cap. And I'll make a motion to approve that. And again, the price was $51,710.
That's the thing that we approved, but
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
it's a good one.
And text message from Steve, he wasn't able to talk about it. Next item on the agenda is the town manager's report. The first item was second bullet, Merton and I have been working on the town budgets and street management was happening very soon. I've been working with that council and I've been doing something. I attended the property auction on my 20th last Saturday, and all 4 properties listed were sold. We'd like to thank you all for the use of this sales. I attended the last planning board meeting and was pleased to see some of the community members present during the meeting. electric car that was going to get power stored. And slowly, so they can form needed everything. But a little live with power and power still. We still need to have, we still have to approve that making an agreement prior to generating power to the grid. But it's had that up legal to where it was going to be concerned. I recently got tomorrow morning. I never asked the issue that has happened on the station with 2011. It was looking safely and the need to manage traffic when performing work roadside and only have one lane open for all single traffic. Craig has done some good research and has found a portable quality traffic signal system. The system will eliminate the need for a first staff to perform flagging operations on job sites. That's great. Steve's got a little bit, and they can have sometimes, electrical outages, and there's a truck walking lane or whatever, and it's going to off and get home. So, that was people just a little bit and warm up with it.
Well, these oftentimes you guys experience all had limited manpower to it. I can usually do that for people. The electric department oftentimes one person fighting with really on the face. And then this building is cool right now. And the core staff is all great. So one person is staying in the middle of the work sounds pretty good. So these things can be folded up. Two people can listen in the back of the pickup truck. And if you buy certain, I think about an hour at a time, a little bit here and there from all of us, which is them. If you use forever, if we have a really serious accident, and it's that we're reconstruction, we can deploy them in PD, or not, they can do their investigation and all things, they know something like that. So even the fire department, police department,
somehow you coordinate the sharing of
well, they usually deploy, they call me, I do that.
Well, the one part that's not going to be that, but it's going to be that main night.
Here.
The fact that the road is going to be 4 inches deep. And then back with that up there, it's,
like they did in the goods.
So it's great, but it's a new unit.
Okay.
So, they can put on the road and
It's good work. Keep on the street.
this be a lot safer when they're going to do a lot of food problems. These problems really, really a lot of houses. So something like this is doing really good. Even when we're not doing the work, because those pipes can be sticking out of the ground. And it's not in any way to direct traffic. I think real cool. If you talk to each other and they're on, they climb, I'm not sure enough to know the traffic will be there. Yeah, so these things are smart. They know exactly how far. They don't have to calculate, they don't have to measure. They'll calculate the distance between and set the lights for the right exact time. I don't have to do measurements and everything. I don't have a computer built in, it's wireless. It's better.
what's the max distance?
1.3 miles. If we want to buy those trailers like you see on the bridge for $80,000, are these ridiculous enough? Well, they actually can plan So they can plan is to take a little bit out of each department and not get under the
So you think of the money within your budget scale?
that's what it is.
Well, maybe that's next week. If you want to get these big things,
Batteries.
the people who sell them or train us and maintain them for us is the problem that this one. And we can get some kind of unit that they will fix them like a little bit. I talked to the president. They are authorized dealers. We can figure out those. You know they're very reliable. They have any trouble. I can understand.
Properly used, so much of save money and it helps reduce the liability.
Do you have a sale if it's in this auction? I'm not going to. I think we can do that cheaper. Okay. We just need to add this beef up that battery, and I think that option is 35%. I think that beef will be responsible for solar charger. Like moderate rate, like chargers that you could offer. I'll go look at it. If I have to put that on, I will. We'll budget for it next year. The charging is from a regular charger. That's right. So what they recommend if you didn't want to buy the solar, just take one battery out every day, charge it overnight, then put it back down. Because if you run off that one battery for a whole day, it's just interesting to get the entire day covered. A lot of people don't buy the chargers. It's gas batteries and car batteries.
Well, it has to be a battery charger there.
But then they could plug it in. Yeah. But then you lose an ice. But you can just bring the battery home at night and bring it back in the morning and take the other one out and just keep walking.
I already talked to Craig real brother from the very time we need to do it. Let's be able to get some more back at that. So I'll make a motion to approve the funding for the state charging system. $15,860. The motion is the second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Do we have any other business? Do you select items?
No, they're just going to leave it as a meeting. But we have pre-approval for the grant that we put in. Pre-submission was approved, and now have the opportunity to submit Dr. Rick.
You have the insight to complete this.
Note to John and do a lot of work on you guys and the putting a plan together on things we want to get it done.
Yeah, we've already, I think, Wednesday,
Second time? Yeah.
I believe, that's what's going to work, setting our sheet. Tuesday night will be,
I think it's session 2 altogether.
it's probably going to work really night.
Somebody has an amazing amount of energy, and I have to tell you, looking at the pre-optics you put in there, and I've seen a lot of grant applications, is probably the best one I've ever seen. It's really section. So they're very good.
So, I just one more thing, I don't know. Before we feel in some budget committee meeting, we have choices October 20th, November 3rd, and November 17th. I thought you guys were on that. So, yeah, she's plans for
regular meeting?
Yes.
Oh, regular meeting.
The regular one, she just wanted to,
So you're gonna see that data on
she'll update the, calendar, and it'll say, meeting. Do we have any further business? We do not have a non-public tonight. I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, please say aye. Motion carries.